All right, ladies and gentlemen, NHL 25 franchise mode deep dive trailer. This thing is 17 minutes, and I was telling Colmer, I think that's a good sign. There hasn't been a franchise like deep dive like this in a couple years, so man, come on NHL. What are your thoughts, Colmer? You're not really a big franchise mode guy.
I'm not. That's for any game. I don't know. I mean, I feel like if I took my time with it, I could really enjoy it. But I don't know. This isn't franchise, but I just saw a short of Johnny Superman, and it's like he reacts to the last three Be a Pro intros with like the snow and the phone call.
Yeah.
So that just explains everything. If you guys don't know, go look it up. Every Be a Pro intro for the last 4 games have been the same, and it's been the same format.
Yeah.
So it just shows that they just copy and paste. So seeing 17 minutes, there's some hope there.
Yeah. All right, yeah. Grab a snack. This one might be a long one. Here we go. Franchise mode. Begin.
Hey everyone, this is Gern Sumo, Senior Game Designer for NHL 25. Today
Hi.
I'm here to talk to you about
Oh,
franchise mode.
okay.
So there's a few new things going into franchise mode. Everything from a brand new streamlined hub, box scores, game logs, and split stats, contract clauses and CBA updates, revamped player and coach conversations, and some community requested tuning changes that we did.
Okay, pause it. When he says community, what do you want? What needs to be fixed?
Just there's so many just like little bugs, like when you're going like menu to menu, or if you have to like sub out an injured player real quick, stuff like that. Yeah, when he said like the coaching conversations, it's like it's just so bad. Or yeah, he said game log. Like, you know how MLB franchise, you can go back to any single game in your season and see like box score. You can't do that in Shell. Once the game ends,
damn.
Yeah, you can't like go back and see it. Which seems small, but it's just if I want to see like the last 5 games, how this player's doing, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. And this video feels just like a nice chill think tank. Let's see.
Over here we have our brand new streamlined hub. It's a unique change from previous years.
Off the bat, I like this.
Yeah, I like the color. I like the,
I love stats,
aesthetic.
and I see a lot of stats here.
The goal here was to make less tabbing and surface more information for you as users to be able to get the most information possible to make educated decisions. So you'll see a brand new quick links on the left-hand side here. Everything that's really important is showing up here. So all that stuff that needs to be done on a more regular basis is there at your fingertips. You'll also notice a bunch of new widgets that are on the screen. You'll have the projected goalie widgets. I'll show you the goalies that are about to start for that game, as well as on that right-hand side, a matchup widget showing you how you're matching up against the opponent you're about to play, as well as the conference standings, division standings, your team leaders from forward points, defense points, all the way down to rookie and goalie wins. And then you have your league leader stats as well. And then on top of that, we've got the ticker that's in the trade deadline minigame at the bottom, which will continuously feed you information as you go from screen to screen as well. You're able to access the calendar and then also tab through,
Kings logo.
through all the various tabs that you would have had access last year, in addition to a few new tabs that allow you to talk to players and coaches. Going into box scores, we'll bring up all the games that are played in the NHL. So all 1,300 plus games, or if you have a custom league, all however many games you've chosen to do. You can go to any game, not just your own teams. You can go to any game and select a game and view the box score for that game. I can view the events that are from that game, who scored, what penalties were there, as well as the stats for each individual player on both teams, and including the 3 stars as well. So you'll get a really good snapshot of every single game that happens in the NHL. And to feed into that stats motif that we got going on, we also have added You game logs and split stats for each individual player. So if I go into Elias Pettersson here,
Love that a
I
lot.
can check out his full career stats, and you'll notice that there's a new filter that's shown here, which is full career stats. Now you got game logs and split stats. So if I go into game log, I can look at every single game that he has played in this year, the standard stats that we track from minutes, shots, goals, assists, points, the date of the game, and the opponent of the game as well. So you can see how that player is doing against every single team and on a per game basis. In addition, you can also see the split stats. So you can see their last 10 games, their home split, their away split, their division
Dang.
split, conference, and on top of that, their monthly and then their
Damn.
per team stats. So how
Every
they've done
team?
against Florida, how they've done against Edmonton, Chicago, etc. And then
my
lastly,
God.
we've also added an
Hey,
awards
EA.
tab to the player info,
I feel
and
like,
you'll be able to view any.
I feel like this is revamped because of how Dynasty is in college football 25. I
Yeah.
feel like the tides have shifted a bit. I don't know, like FC 24 was fire. College football is, it's fire offline and everything, and I don't know, we'll see. But so far,
Let me tell you this. When's the last time you played that?
what, 25?
Yeah, college football.
2 days ago, I was playing for a couple hours.
Oh, dang,
mean,
really?
it's-
You still play it?
Yeah,
I haven't.
like no, just the Road to Glory, like my guy from Hawaii. But I really want to. I don't know, dude. I'd rather have you come over and film something rather than playing online. So it's tough for games like that don't allow that to happen.
Yeah, and yeah, I'll say my final thoughts for Jerry's final thoughts. But yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Okay.
Any award that
Oh,
that
my
player has won throughout
guy.
their entire career. So it's not just the last 5 years. If you have Alex Ovechkin, it could be something
Oh.
that he won back in the 2010s.
Yes.
All that shows up on this screen and for you to
Oh,
that
see
Johnny.
new?
and
Yeah.
look at with throughout the
Johnny
course of
Superman.
Franchise
Oh, I want to watch Johnny Superman react to this. He's gonna love it.
One of our biggest fan requests is we
Okay,
added
okay,
no
okay.
move, no trade clauses to the game. In addition, we also overhauled our contract negotiation system to fit that in. So now you'll notice when you come into the free agency screen, you'll see an org interest bar. Every single player has a contract interest bar and an organization interest bar, and those will now dictate whether or not a player will want to sign with your team. So if a player has a very low organization bar, you may need to convince him to actually join your team. Those two bars now dictate and change who you target in free agency, because it may not be possible for you to get the best free agent because they may not like your organization because of the taxes that you have, the market size that you have, your status as a contender. If they want to be playing on a championship team and you're a rebuilder, they may not want to join your team. Now, you can offer them other
I don't like this purely because I kind of cheese in franchise. Once I get past I don't know 6 or 7 years in it, where it's all computer generated people, and I'm just sort of cycling through high. I don't know. It seems like no movement clause. I can't just dump a guy once I don't have room for him, which is very realistic, and I think it's great. But just me personally, I'm like, dang, I can't really cheese it. But I like it.
Yeah.
incentives. You'll see promises on the bottom right hand corner and player requests. Certain players will have requests that they would like to have, like playing on the top line, power play,
Ooh, I like
the
that.
first line.
Yeah.
You'll also be able to give out clauses. So you'll see that you can give out no movement clauses, no trade clauses, modified no trade clauses. You can give out different structures, whether reduced, full. It'll change the number of teams that you
I like
can
that.
or cannot be traded to. So we've added a lot of depth and a lot of fidelity to the contract.
Oh, okay, that's the
negotiation
number
engine
of
that
teams.
wasn't there before. I'll go into a player that doesn't want to sign with my team currently. Give you an example of what I mean in terms of you have to persuade that player. Now, Sam Bennett here, doesn't want to join my team, you're able to do certain actions to potentially win them over. You can charm them, you can gain some organization interest if they take to it. So in this case it did, which is great. Now you can now talk about the contract or go into the organization and kind of pitch them on the organization. So if I go into here, I can now pitch him on the market size and the team status and persuade him into wanting to join my team and forego his expectation of preferring to play in a smaller market like Florida. So in this case, it's very risky to do so. It may negatively affect the organization, which may basically mean I'm out of the running completely. But if I do persuade him and it is successful, I can get him to join my team. So in this case, it's successful.
Like the recruiting
and if I go into
college football.
You'll see the bar go up to full. So now I have persuaded him into wanting to potentially join my team, which is huge. So he went from not interested at all to being persuaded into joining my team, and now I can go and offer him a contract. The first offer that you see here, the number of years, will always be what that player wants. You can go through
I'm nitpicking.
select different years. They may or may not accept a 1-year deal. So if you do select 1 year or 2 years, they
There we go.
Half of those messages were repeated. I'm just saying. If you go back,
Yeah.
it says the same thing 5 times.
Yeah.
I'm not nitpicking because there's a lot going on and it's all positive, but I just know, like, if it gets repetitive for me, I'm just like, there's no point in doing this.
No,
But
yeah, I agree.
It's a computer. Like, you can't do much with it, but
yeah, I can already tell like this, and this is like this just the same thing as the past franchises where it's just like, all right, repetitive, but at least it's for a new feature.
yeah, absolutely.
So, but yeah, I can very much see that getting very repetitive, and it will be.
They may say, I'm not interested in that, and just end the conversation there. But if you go into the 4 years, they will let you go in and start negotiating. So negotiate, we'll try to make a more team-friendly deal. So the higher your organization bar, the more likely you can negotiate a player down in salary. You can also improve the offer if you like. This allows you to add extra money, clauses, promises to your contract offer. So if I want to increase the salary here, I can increase it up by a lot or a little. So
I won't say no to that.
Salary, but I
won't
also
say no to
improve the
that.
offer further by adding in a clause. So I can give him a full move, no trade, whatever it may be. I'm going to give him a full
I won't say no to that.
move clause, as well as I'll promise him first line minutes.
I won't say no to that.
He will more than likely now
but
want to sign because I have.
See, but then it's also like, look at it from the other perspective. There's a lot of things you can say to, like, so I'm kind of contradicting myself here. Even if, like, because the more I'm seeing, like, the options as the conversation goes on, like, okay, you said yes, now here's the clauses, here's the promises, here's, like, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Because, like, now you have more ability to negotiate. Like, I see I need to shut my mouth before I I need to watch before I open my mouth.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the messages.
Like the messages from the player isn't as crazy now because of what you can talk to him about.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't want you to rewind it, but, like, I liked how, okay, he says, okay, I'm open to it. Here's my offer, $7 million, whatever. And then the more the conversation goes on, you can promise, like, I don't know, power play units or, like, trade clauses, like, all this stuff. I like this.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, you don't want to give him too much. That's where you got to think, like, I don't want to give in that, like, just because I like Sam Bennett, I don't want to promise him this, or if I really like Sam Bennett, I want to promise him this and that.
Yeah.
That's where, like, this conversation can hurt you in the long run if you make the wrong one. So,
yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And I don't know, like, I'm just going to go back 5 seconds here. I don't know if this is, like, sped up or this is how fast it is, but I'm down.
First line minutes.
Just
so
boom.
He
Next.
will more than likely now want to sign because I have given him.
Well, he kept playing, pressing continue.
Well, yeah. I mean, what I'm saying is, like, once and I'm sure everyone who plays franchise gets comfortable and, like, the responses, you can just be like, oh, okay, promise this. All right, 0.5 million. This. I'll promise you that. You just get used to it.
That can also be the repetitive side. Like, there's no thought into it. You already know what he's gonna say. Like, I wish there was something where it's just like it backdoors you. Like, yo, like, whoa, I thought we had a deal. Like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
Obviously, that's very hard to do. and there's a lot they have to do for franchise, and like they don't want to focus on one thing. But imagine just like you're at the end of the road, and then you're like, you know what, just absolutely pulls the rug out from under you, and you're
Yeah.
like, how the hell do I answer that?
He
It's crazy.
Otani on a plane to Toronto's you.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that would be crazy
Yeah.
if they added something like that.
All right, here we go.
World. You can also table the contract as well. So if you think you've negotiated a deal with the player to the sense, but you want to try out and sign another player just in case, you can table the deal.
Ooh,
There's a
that's
risk to
something.
this, obviously.
I don't know if this is just like free agency or if you're doing extensions. I think he said extensions. But if you like accidentally offer a guy like too much or something and you accidentally hit submit, F you. You just submitted it. You can't change it. So this I like.
See, if another team steps in and offers a contract to them, they may get taken and may sign with another team. So it's kind of a risk reward on your aspect of it too, whether or not you're willing to take that chance. So in this case, Sam Bennett accepted the offer because it was so good. I gave him a full no move. I gave him $2 million more, and I also gave him a first line promise. So he's
By the way, of course they're doing the Canucks because EA is in Vancouver.
now
That's why Vancouver Canucks always have like overrated overalls.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
So I can literally convince them from not wanting to join my team to joining my team through the power of the conversation engine. So next up, with the addition of no move and no trade clauses, obviously when you want to go and trade a player, that
Oh,
has a
is
trade
the
clause,
background
you need to figure out what team they
your
can and
team's
cannot
color?
trade it to.
I think it
So if
is.
we go to Aaron Ekblad here, you'll see he has
I like
a
that.
modified no trade clause, and you can go into the new contract info screen that shows you the trade clause, the years that are left on the trade clause, and the teams that you can trade that player to. So on the right hand side, there's a tradable team list. He can be traded to 20 teams, and there's 12 teams that he has a no trade for. So if I go to Anaheim or Boston or Buffalo, he is
Damn,
an
Anaheim's
eligible
logo is
player for me to
sexy, I'm not gonna
actually
lie.
put on
Yeah.
the trade block.
The jerseys
If
are
I
nice
put him on
too.
a team that he
Yeah.
doesn't have a trade clause for, I would need to actually convince Ekblad to waive his no trade clause. So you can go into the proposed trade screen, select the player that you want to trade, and it'll automatically have you initiate a conversation with them. You'll see that I'll have to persuade the player into waiving their no trade clause. If failed, which means I can no longer have Ekblad be eligible to be traded to the Carolina Hurricanes. The other way to get them to talk
Damn,
about the
that's
clauses
tough.
and other options is to actually go in through the new franchise hub. So if I went into Matthew Tkachuk here, I have different options to have him potentially waive his
Okay.
clause
GM
or change his clause for the year. I'm able to get him to maybe give me a list of 1 team, 2 teams, 3 teams, or outright waive his no trade clause. So I'm going to ask him maybe give me 1 team that he would want to potentially go for. In this case, he actually did. So now I can go into Matthew Tkachuk's player card and figure out who he actually wants to be traded to. Now you can see that he has a modified no trade clause, but going to his contract info, he wants to go to the Montreal Canadiens. So I can add him to the block for the Montreal Canadiens, and then you'll be able to make a trade. The conversation engine allows you to kind of have a little bit of flexibility and how much you want that player to waive. Whether you fully waive their clause.
I was thinking about Johnny Superb, man.
It allows you to pick a riskier or less riskier option to give the player still some agency as well. Another new feature that we've added is our brand new conversation engine. You've seen a little bit of it in the no move, no trade, but we wanted to make every conversation feel important and have a meaningful impact.
All right, this is
on
probably
the
meant for
team.
me right here.
So gone
after
are
what I
the
just said.
ice time conversations where players are complaining about things. It's now more of a proactive system where you are now assigning players goals or trying to make that player better or try to fit into your system as you need to. If I go into Orchinski here, you'll notice that there's 2 options for me to select from: season goal or on ice play. Each of these has their own subset of items that you'll be able to select through. For season goals, this actually influences player development, something that in the past you as a user didn't really have a lot of influence over. Now you will with season goals. So you can select a season goal. You'll have 2 options of short-term goals. So these are half-season goals. They're shorter goals and they give you less of a reward potentially. And then we have long-term goals, which allow you to perform a stat challenge, an award challenge, and then an X-Factor challenge. These challenges allow you to give a player potentially an X-Factor ability, whether it be a zone or a superstar ability. Award challenges are asking a player to win an award, and by winning that award, they may gain attribute points as well. And then you have stat challenges, which you may ask a player to score X amount of goals, assists, or plus minus or block shots, and they will gain potential ratings impact onto themselves based off of completing that goal. Now, it isn't that it's a hard line, so as long as I'm close, he'll get some of that reward to passing, but he may not get the full
Awesome.
amount. So it is
Awesome.
really forgiving in that sense. But
Talk to me,
you want to
Gurm.
get as close as you possibly can to that marker to help influence that player. So in this case, I'll set a goal to have him score 40 assists, and then once that's in there, you'll be able to check out the goal in the morale screen as you sim through a season and look at their stats and see how they're doing. Now that I've assigned a player goal to that player, I can also go into the on-ice play and potentially have them change their play style or the position. You'll notice on the upper right hand side of the screen that you have something called adaptability. Every player has adaptability rating. This adaptability rating allows us to control how likely a player will potentially adhere to being able to change to a new playing style or a position. So I can now talk to them about their preferred lines or ice time allocation, as that's no longer locked. I can get them to potentially change those things. So in this case, I want him to reorganize or lock players into certain lines. I can now do so. I persuaded them into being open to it. If in the instance where it fails, you can still force the coach to go through this flow. You will lose morale as a trade-off, but at the end of the day, you are the GM and you hire the coach, so you are able to brute force your way
you're the
through it.
boss.
So in this case, I want to look at my forwards and I want to have my line 2 center be Elias Pettersson. So if I go into line 2 and center, I can now lock in Elias Pettersson as the center for that line. Now I can also make his left wing
Holy
this instance,
balls.
Jake DeBrusk. And then if I go into that align screen again, you'll notice that when I hit best lines now, those players should now get into that slot. You now see Elias Pettersson and Jake DeBrusk in that role. So if I move Pettersson down,
Yeah, but can't you just manually move him?
Hit best lines.
Yeah,
I'll
but
always lock them into that line. So if you
Homer, this is groundbreaking. When
Yeah,
you-
but can't you manually just move them?
You
Why do you have
can.
to tell the coach to move them?
Because when you hit best lines, so after an injury, guy comes back and you just want to put him in the same spot without having to stop the simulation, go in the menus, and that's where it gets all laggy after injuries.
Yeah.
Now you can tell the coach, hey, and if you do best lines normally, they just put the best overalls at the top. And when you do it like this, you can say, hey, when I say best lines, put this guy here, that guy there. Awesome. It saves time and frustrations. Awesome.
Yeah.
If he gets hurt and comes back into the lineup, it will remember
Teddy
that and put him
Bluger.
back into
Teddy
the right
Bluger.
spot. So you can lock all your lines exactly how you want it.
Esther
and
Bruger.
really help the usability for playing with injuries on. So you're able to have your lines always constructed in the way that you want them, and the coach will make sure
Brock
that the
Besser,
two
Armada
best
legend.
lines in that manner.
For real.
It is quite a cumbersome thing. So this was our way with the power of the conversation engine to allow you to actually lock in players into those lines.
Okay. All right,
Another
EA.
feature that we added to really help the roster sharing community was the addition of draft picks to the player movement screen. Now you're able to trade 5 years worth of draft picks in the player movement screen to keep up with the real
Oh, I
world
can
as you're waiting for
cheese.
the latest roster update
I
from
can
us.
cheese.
So in this case, I can trade Anaheim's and Edmonton's first round pick to the Buffalo Sabres, and then you'll be able to go in and see that Buffalo has Anaheim and Edmonton's first round pick, and you're able to upload this roster file to roster sharing, and then you'll be able to have others download it with the correct draft picks.
I
and
can
you then
cheese,
start your
but it also
franchise mode
makes
when
more
the latest
accurate
trade comes out and you're waiting
downloaded
for the roster
rosters.
update. You're able to make the adjustment yourself and then go into franchise mode and start your franchise mode if you need to. That's a big change there, as well as we've added a few more elite potential prospects into the draft. Make the league as you get later into later years. Refresh that player pool, have the overalls be around the same amount as well. So we added a lot to franchise mode this year. We had a lot of fun working on the game, and we can't wait for you to pick up early access on September 27th.
Damn, that's the day I leave. Yeah.
I am
Wait,
standing.
27th is Friday, the day I leave, but we don't leave till 5 p.m. So we might need to pre-order this.
This video made me pre-order this game. Yeah, I'm getting this early. I think the last trailer we said, we'll get it when it's on discount towards Christmas. I don't know, man.
Is this the last video that they're gonna release?
Um,
There's no way.
no, they need to do their hut deep dive, their moneymaker, and
They
hopefully,
need to do animation deep dive, bro. They gotta bring me in gameplay. I haven't seen anything gameplay that I'm like, okay, that we haven't seen before.
yeah. Well, and hopefully they do like a World of Shell. Maybe
Honestly,
not even a
better
deep
do it
dive, just like a 5 minute. Hey, here's what's in it.
yourself. Yeah.
Overall, awesome. Franchise mode looks sick. I can't wait to see Johnny Superman's reaction. Because he's really good at making storylines in franchise modes, and this just adds way more.
This is gonna be a whole new world for YouTube. You haven't done like a new game that came out like series.
No. Yeah, I mean, we got this. We got Civ coming out. Black Ops. I might post a little Black Ops. I know we're gonna have funny shorts coming out of Black Ops, so doing a lot of those. Final thoughts, Colmer?
Obviously I'm not a big franchise guy, but I can see. Well, because I didn't know the cracks in the wall. I didn't know what was wrong with it.
Yeah.
It was a really good breakdown. They did
Yeah.
show a lot.
I would have liked to see scouting, but if they didn't put it in, that probably means it's pretty much the same. So, yeah, final thoughts. Awesome work. And
I do wish. One quick thing. I do wish that team like chemistry. It would have been cool. I know it's so stupid to add, but like, for example, one of your guys posts something on Instagram so stupid, and you gotta have him talk to the press, and then it affects the crowd. Or also, if it affects the crowd, but then if your team starts sucking, I don't know if that's how it is already, but like there's barely people in the stands.
what do you mean post to Instagram? Like a slur?
No, like a slur, or like they actually like a leak a nude or something. Like, like obviously not that extreme, but like where a guy's like starting fights in the locker room, or he's just arguing with coaches, where you gotta cut him, or you gotta have him make a statement, or like if your team sucks, there's less crowd in the stands. And then
I think they used to do that.
They have paper bags on their heads, and then they like have signs that say like "sell the team," because then they'll be like, okay, what can we bring to boost like not only our team chemistry but our crowd environment, or like our crowd happiness, because obviously that would be really cool too. Like how you can like, I don't know, buy like new stuff for the arena, buy better seating, buy like that would be
like the old MLBs.
Yeah, but that's just nitpicking. Like this is a really good trailer. I'm just saying that would have been really cool to add.
Yeah. Or like if your team trades like 24 guys for a single player, then they sign him to $8 million deal for 8 years, and then he sucks balls, and then you trade him. That'd be cool.
Oh man.
All right, Chell fans, Krug Swag, Colt Exotic out. Great trailer, great times, great vibes, great lives. We'll see you in the next one.